Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Duse and I'm a professional wedding photographer. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing with you my favorite lens of all time, and I'll give you 7 reasons why I use this lens almost always at weddings, and it is probably the only or 99% of the time the lens I use for portrait photography. So stay tuned and I'll share with you 7 reasons why this lens is my most used lens for wedding and portrait photography. So as you have already seen in the caption and then on the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about the Nikon 85mm 1.8. And it doesn't matter if you're not a Nikon shooter, you can be a Canon shooter, but they also have the 85mm 1.8. And I think it's a very fantastic lens for the following reasons. One, it is the best focal length for portrait photography. So if you're a photographer out there, you shoot maybe portraits or you shoot people, you have already come across a lot of photography reviews and lessons telling you that between the focal length of 70 to let's say 105, 120 that way is the best focal length for what? Portrait photography. And as you can already tell, when it comes to wedding photography, you are mostly shooting humans and you want them to look as best as possible. So you can basically use this lens for the dress-up sessions where you capture some portraits of your bride, the groom, and all those stuff. Then during the ceremony itself, I use this lens a lot to capture almost the entire ceremony, unless it is maybe the group session or I want some wide shots of the congregation, or maybe they are signing and then the place is tight, so I have to use a wide angle lens to capture those moments. But aside that, I am shooting this lens 90% of the time, and if I can, I shoot it throughout the entire ceremony. And when it comes to the reception, when it is outdoors, most of the time, almost all the time, I shoot with the 85mm. And when it comes to the exclusives where I take the couples out there and then we take some nice portraits of them, it is 99% of the time 85mm. Unless, of course, the space is small enough that I can't use the 85mm, then I switch to my 50mm 1.8 or maybe the 24-70 in some scenarios. It gives me the type of images I want. The images look real and there are no weird distortion or maybe warping of the face and all those stuff. So that's one reason why I use the 85mm 90% of the time. Now, the second reason is that all 85mm come with wide aperture. So basically, Canon has an 85mm 1.8, Nikon has an 85mm 1.8, they have 1.4, and then Canon even has as low as 1.2. So you can notice that all these 85mm lenses are coming with a very wide aperture, which will give you enough light to capture whatever you want. And then aside that, you get those sweet bokeh background, those blurry backgrounds that makes the images stand out. So with the 85mm, you can stand at almost anywhere and then take a picture at a very wide aperture and you are getting very nice bokeh images. So that's one reason why I use the 85mm a lot. It gives me very sweet bokeh and I'm able to use it in a very low light environment and still get my images between an ISO that is usable. So instead of me increasing an ISO to maybe 4,500 and all those stuff, if I'm shooting f2.8, I can shoot at ISO 1600 and get those sweet images with less noise because the aperture is very, very big. Now, the third reason for me using the 85mm a lot is because of its ability to focus very, very fast. So I'm a Nikon shooter. I've tried the Canon 85mm on my USM 50, the M50, which I'm using to record this video right now. I've tried the Sigma 85 1.4 on the Canon M50 and it worked very well. The autofocus is very, very good. And in the Nikon world as well, the autofocus is also very, very good. And it does the job for me perfectly. Maybe there are some lenses that are focusing faster than that, but in my experience, the 85mm has focused well enough for me. And so I like that lens so much for its autofocus abilities. And I can use it in almost any lighting situation, whether being dark or bright or whatever the situation may be, the autofocus is just perfect for me. So that's another reason why I use the 85mm a lot. The fourth reason why the 85mm is my go-to favorite lens is because during a wedding ceremony, like I've already said, I can use this lens in almost all the sessions and I'll get fantastic results. I use this 85mm to capture details like the shoes, the bridal gown, all those stuffs, bridal fan and all those stuff, accessories and all those stuffs. Sometimes even with the ring, but mostly when it comes to the ring, I use the macro lens, which I may review in the future videos. If you want to see something about that, you can let me know and I'll do a video on how I capture ring photos with a very cheap lens I bought on eBay. And that is why I use the 85mm a lot, because it's very versatile. As long as there is enough space for me to go back and focus or get close enough to take a picture, I'm always going for the 85mm. Number 5, a very important reason why I use the 85mm a lot is because of its weight. The 85mm 1.8 has a very fantastic lightweight to it, and that is one thing that I want in all my gears. So for instance, I shoot Nikon Z6 and I have this 85mm 1.8 on it. I can use this setup for almost the entire shoot, maybe 95-90% of the entire wedding day. And trust me, this is a program that you are shooting for about maybe 4, 5, 6 hours a day. And you can't be going around carrying all those heavy lenses. Of course, I have 70-200 lens, which is also fantastic, the G2 version of Tamron, but I don't often find myself using that lens. The reason being that it is too heavy for me, and as some of you may know, I switched to Nikon Z6 because I want to use that screen at the back instead of using the viewfinder. I prefer using the screen at the back to take my images. So holding an 70-200 like this during the entire day is going to be a lot of work, and that is why I don't use it most of the time. And in most situations, the 85 is probably going to do the same job or maybe even better for me. And aside that, it is very lightweight, and so I prefer to use the 85 in most situations. The 50mm, of course, is also very light, but as you can already tell, on a full frame camera, it is too wide for most of my shots. And in addition to its lightweight, I'm somebody that always shoots pictures and video at a wedding ceremony. So as long as the client is hiring me and my team for pictures and videos, I am also taking videos as well as taking pictures at the ceremony. And that may come as a surprise to most of you, but I've done that several times and it works for me perfectly. And so holding this lens to shoot a video, it's quite important for you to get something that you can be able to balance and stabilize at any point in time. Of course, the Nikon Z6 has a very, very good image stabilization, but you need a lens that you can hold in your arm and use to record video at any point in time and get fantastic results, nice bokeh, nice aperture, and all those stuff. The 85mm just makes me more creative. The 7th reason is it makes me more creative. Why do I say so? Now, if I'm using the 70-200mm, where I know I can zoom in at any point in time or zoom out to 70 or anything at any point in time, I feel like I'm not doing the best. I feel like I'm not shooting to the best of my ability. For instance, when I have the 85mm, I have to get closer to the subject to get the correct framing that I want, or go backwards to get or capture the view I want. With that alone, I'm able to think a lot more than just standing in one corner, zooming in and out. I'm able to switch angles, and I believe this makes me a lot more creative than just standing at one corner and then zooming and taking pictures. So that's another reason why the 85mm is my go-to lens for wedding photography. Now, the final reason is the price. The price of the 85mm. I don't know for you out there, it may be expensive, but to me, I think the price and the ability of this lens is very, very tolerable, because this lens, I bought mine for around 2,600 Ghana cedis, and that in dollars will be around maybe 500 or $500 to $600. I don't know the current price now, but getting a lens for that amount, which serves almost all the purpose for me, is totally worth it. People ask me, why don't you go for the 85mm 1.4? Of course, it's a fantastic lens, but the price is twice the price of the 85mm 1.8. And most people using the 85mm 1.4, the Sigma version, the art lens, which is of course a fantastic lens. I'm not doubting that. I'm already shooting at f1.8, so I feel like there is no need for me to spend money to get an 85mm 1.4 at this particular time. Maybe one day when I have enough money and I don't have much to worry about, I may buy the 85mm 1.4 and also use it for my business. Of course, I'll be shooting at 1.4 the entire time, almost the entire time. Of course, I don't understand why people will be using 85 1.4 and then be shooting at 1.8. Maybe they have their own reasons, but for me, I'm always shooting the widest as possible. As long as it gets the job done for you, you can also do whatever you want to do. So these are my 7 reasons why I use the 85mm 1.8 almost all the time for wedding photography, and it is no doubt my favorite lens of all time. And you should also check it out if you don't have one. Maybe borrow one from a friend. Tell me in the comment section if the 85mm is your go-to lens as well, or you can also share with me your favorite lens that you use for your job, being it architecture or wedding photography or whatever it is. You can also share with me in the comment section below, and I will be glad to hear from you guys. If you have found this video useful, and if this video has helped you to decide on whether you need the 85mm or not, or this video has helped you, educated you in any way, please leave a like on this video, share with your friends who you think may also want to learn something from this video or are looking for information like this. And please don't forget to subscribe. It motivates me a lot. And then hit the bell icon so that anytime I upload a video, you get notified and you don't miss any of my future tutorials. If you have any questions for me as well, please leave it in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.